Picture this. A mechanic in Tulsa pulls a 2019 Honda Accord into the service bay. The owner just had a fresh oil change done, full synthetic, the good stuff, 45 minutes before the car overheated on the highway. The engine didn't seize immediately. It gave warnings. Ticking, sluggish throttle response. A temperature needle climbing slow and steady like a debt. The owner ignored every single one. Repair bill? $2,300. New engine components, labor, diagnostics, all of it preventable. All of it triggered not by skipping the oil change, but by what happened in the 24 hours after doing it right. Most drivers think the hard part is remembering to change the oil. It's not. The hard part is understanding that a fresh oil change creates a critical window, a period where your engine is more vulnerable, more sensitive, and more dependent on your next few decisions than at almost any other point in its life. After analyzing repair claims from thousands of vehicles and spending years diagnosing the difference between engines that fail at 90,000 miles and ones that quietly roll past 300,000, the patterns become impossible to ignore, and the habits that destroy engines almost always trace back to the same 10 mistakes, all of them happening after the oil change is already done. Number 10, revving your engine immediately after leaving the shop. You pull out of the oil change bay, feel that satisfying sense of freshness, maybe press the accelerator a little harder than usual because the car feels cleaner. It's one of the most common post-oil change mistakes, and it costs real money over time. Here's what's actually happening inside the engine at that moment. Fresh oil takes between 30 seconds and 2 full minutes to fully circulate through every oil passage, gallery, and bearing surface in a modern engine. During that window, certain components, specifically the upper valve train, the camshaft lobes, and the lifters, are running on residual film from the previous oil, not the fresh charge you just paid for. When you rev the engine hard before that new oil has fully distributed itself, you're loading metal surfaces that are still running on a thin, degraded layer. Every high RPM burst in those first 2 minutes accelerates microscopic wear on bearing journals that can't be reversed. A nurse in Columbus made a habit of doing this twice a week, driving a 2017 Mazda 3 she'd owned since it had 11,000 miles. By 87,000, her lifters were tapping loudly enough that her mechanic could hear them from across the shop. The repair was $640. The fix is simple. For the first 5 minutes after any oil change, keep RPMs below 2,500. Let the oil circulate, let the pressure stabilize. It costs nothing and can add years to the engine's service life. Number 9, a cross-threaded or under-torqued drain plug. This one sounds like a shop problem, not yours, but it will become your problem fast if you don't catch it. The drain plug on most vehicles has a spec torque range of between 20 and 35 foot-pounds depending on the make and model. Too loose and it seeps, sometimes quietly for weeks, before the oil pressure drops low enough to trigger a warning light. Too tight or cross-threaded, and you've damaged the oil pan threads, which can cost anywhere from $180 for a thread repair kit to over $900 if the pan itself needs replacing. The easiest thing you can do, 60 seconds after driving off, park on flat ground and check underneath. Look for any fresh drip, any oil sheen on the pan near the plug. You don't need tools. You need 30 seconds of attention. A teacher from Portland caught a slow seep on her Nissan Altima within a mile of leaving a chain oil change shop. The plug had been hand-tightened but never torqued. She turned around immediately. The shop caught it. No damage, no bill. The drivers who don't check aren't so lucky. Number 8, driving aggressively within the first 20 miles of fresh oil. Think of it this way. You've just put a brand new set of running shoes on your feet. Now someone asks you to sprint 100 meters immediately. No warm-up, no stretch. The shoes haven't conformed to your foot, the cushioning hasn't compressed to your stride, and you're running at full output before any of that adaptation has happened. Fresh motor oil behaves similarly. Modern synthetic oils contain complex additive packages, anti-wear compounds, friction modifiers, viscosity improvers, that need a brief thermal cycle to fully activate at optimal levels. In the first 20 miles, especially in colder climates, the oil hasn't yet reached its full operating temperature range or achieved stable viscosity across all engine zones. Hard acceleration, aggressive lane changes, or highway merges at wide open throttle during this window can cause pressure fluctuations in the oil circuit that lead to momentary starvation at the turbocharger bearing on turbocharged engines. For a turbocharged Mazda CX-5 or a Subaru WRX, that momentary starvation can cause the kind of bearing wear that costs between $400 and $3,800 to diagnose and repair. Drive calmly for the first 20 miles. It's not superstition, it's engineering. Number 7, never checking the oil level before driving away. This should be automatic. It isn't. Even professional shops make overfill and underfill mistakes. In fact, overfill errors at chain quick lube shops are more common than most people realize. Overfilling the engine by even half a quart causes the crankshaft to make contact with the oil surface during rotation, aerating it into foam. Foamy, aerated oil doesn't lubricate. It creates cavitation in the oil pump and strips pressure from bearings. 4-quart capacity means nearly 23% excess fluid, and the resulting foam can reach critical engine components within minutes of startup. Underfill is equally dangerous. The 2 minutes it takes to pull the dipstick, wipe it clean, reinsert it, and read the level correctly is the single highest return investment you can make after any oil change. Check cold if possible. Check within 30 seconds of shutdown if the car is already warm. The level should sit between the 2 marks on the dipstick. Not above the high mark, not below the low mark, and ideally closer to full. An engineer from Denver caught a nearly full quart overfill at a dealership service bay before driving his 2020 Tacoma a single mile. He had them drain the excess on the spot. That dipstick check protected an engine worth several $1,000s. Number 6. Ignoring the mileage on the windshield sticker, but not for the reason you think. Here's the counterintuitive truth. The sticker placed on your windshield after most oil changes typically recommends a change interval that benefits the shop more than your engine. The old industry standard of 3,000 miles is outdated for virtually every vehicle built after 2010. If you're running full synthetic oil in a modern engine that specifies 7,500 or 10,000 mile intervals, changing it at 3,000 miles isn't protecting your engine. It's wasting perfectly functional oil and money, but the reverse is also true and more dangerous. If you're driving a 2008 Honda Civic with a high mileage engine and you stretch your conventional oil to 8,000 miles because someone told you that's fine for synthetics, you're applying a modern spec to an older engine that needs more frequent changes to compensate for increased blow-by and internal contamination. The real number to use? Your owner's manual, combined with your actual driving conditions. Short trips, cold climates, towing, and stop and go traffic all shorten the effective life of motor oil, regardless of what the sticker says. Know your driving profile. The sticker is a starting point, not a mandate. Number 5. Mixing oil viscosities after the change. This mistake costs nothing to make and can be deceptively silent until it isn't. After an oil change, most drivers keep a quart of oil in the trunk for top-offs. The problem occurs when the oil in the trunk doesn't match the viscosity used during the change. If a shop used 5W30 and you top off with 10W40 2 months later, you've changed the oil's viscosity characteristics in a way that affects its behavior at both cold start and operating temperature. This isn't catastrophic for a single incident, but over multiple top-offs across different oil changes, you can compound the mismatch. Worse, mixing conventional with full synthetic doesn't ruin the synthetic, but it does dilute the additive package and reduce the synthetic's protective sealing, particularly in extreme temperatures. The simple fix: after every oil change, photograph the invoice or note the exact oil used and buy 1 quart of the same product to keep as your top-off reserve. Replace that quart when the next oil change uses the same type, or discard it and replace. A delivery driver in Austin had been running a mismatched viscosity blend in his 2015 Chevy Silverado for 2 years before a used oil analysis, one of the smartest $30 investments in car ownership, flagged the contamination. He corrected it. The engine is still running cleanly at 210,000 miles. Warning: stop here and never do this one after an oil change, no matter who tells you it's fine. Never, under any circumstances, rev the engine to burn off residual old oil or to seat the new oil faster. This advice circulates in automotive forums with alarming frequency and has no mechanical basis. Residual oil burn-off happens naturally during normal driving, forcing it through high RPM cycling before the engine has fully thermally stabilized after a cold. Oil change increases oil consumption, pushes carbon deposits into the upper valve train prematurely, and achieves nothing that wouldn't happen on its own within 10 minutes of normal driving. Equally dangerous, running the engine with the oil cap off to check for pressure. Oil caps are sealed for a reason. Running the engine with the cap removed drops crankcase pressure, forces oil mist out of the fill hole, and can pull contaminants into the engine. Leave the cap on. Always. Number 4. Skipping the oil life monitor reset. Modern vehicles from 2012 onward increasingly use an oil life monitoring algorithm, not just a mileage counter, but a system that evaluates engine load, temperature cycling, fuel input, and RPM patterns to calculate actual oil degradation in real time. If you don't reset this monitor after an oil change, the system continues calculating from wherever the previous oil change ended. Your dashboard may tell you the oil life is at 42% when the fresh oil has actually been in the engine for 0 miles. Worse, the system may not alert you at the correct interval because it thinks you have more life remaining than you do. Resetting it is a 15-second procedure that varies by manufacturer. Most GM vehicles use the ignition and gas pedal in a specific sequence. Toyota vehicles use a trip reset button held during startup. And Ford vehicles often have a menu option through the instrument cluster. Check your owner's manual for the exact reset. Procedure for your specific model year. A software analyst from Phoenix spent 3 years skipping this step on her 2018 Chevy Equinox because she assumed the shop reset it. They didn't. By the time the error compounded, her oil life monitor was showing 20% life on oil that was 9,400 miles past its interval. The engine survived, but with measurably elevated wear metals on the next analysis. Number 3. Your first cold start after the oil change is the most dangerous moment. This is the one that mechanics understand and most owners completely miss. When fresh oil is installed, the system has been drained of the previous charge. The new oil sits in the pan. When you start the engine cold for the first time after a change, there's a brief period, sometimes as short as 2 seconds, sometimes as long as 8, depending on ambient temperature, oil viscosity, and how long the vehicle sat, where the oil pump is building pressure from a fully primed down state. In a conventional startup after the engine has been running, there's residual oil coating every critical surface. After a full drain, that residual layer is thinner. This is why idling for at least 30 to 60 seconds before any load application after first cold start post-oil change is not optional, it's protective. This is especially critical in sub-freezing temperatures, where oil viscosity is at its highest and flow resistance is at its greatest. An HVAC technician in Minneapolis who starts his 2016 Ford F-150 and immediately drives at highway speed in January is creating a measurably different wear event on his engine's rod bearings than one who idles for 1 minute first. The difference across 200,000 miles isn't theoretical. It's documented in bearing surface wear analysis from fleet maintenance programs. Number 2, trusting the receipt instead of the oil itself. Oil change receipts are documentation, not verification. In 2023 alone, a wave of consumer complaints across multiple states documented instances of quick lube shops either diluting fresh oil with used oil, charging for synthetic, and using conventional or performing visual-only inspections and marking everything as changed. This isn't paranoia. It's a documented pattern in independent consumer investigations. The simplest protection. Before you leave any shop, pull the dipstick and look at the oil on it. Fresh synthetic oil is nearly translucent amber, golden, slightly see-through when held up to light. Used oil is darker, more opaque, sometimes almost black with accumulated combustion byproducts. The color isn't a perfect diagnostic tool, but fresh oil from a legitimate oil change should look noticeably different from what was in the engine. Combined with a smell test, fresh oil has a mild chemical smell, burned or degraded oil smells, sharp and acrid. You have a 2-second field verification that's more reliable than any receipt. A retired firefighter in Tampa caught a suspected diluted oil change at a franchise location. This way, and had the change redone on the spot at no charge. The shop knew immediately what had been checked and why. And now, number 1, the habit that determines whether your engine reaches 200,000 miles or stops somewhere around 120,000. The one that synthesizes everything above into a single actionable practice that takes less than 3 minutes and most drivers never do once in the life of their vehicle. Keep a maintenance log, a physical log, not an app, not a folder of receipts stuffed in the glove compartment, not a mental note. A small notebook or a printed sheet kept in the owner's manual pouch, where every oil change is recorded with the date, mileage, oil brand, viscosity, where the change was done, whether the filter was replaced, and 1 line of notes on a NY abnormal observation during that visit. This sounds almost insultingly simple, but here's what the data actually shows. Vehicles with documented consistent maintenance histories, even informal ones, are measurably less likely to develop the cascading mechanical failures that begin as ignored small problems. The act of recording forces observation. When you write oil looked slightly dark at 4,800 miles instead of the usual 6,000, you've just created a data point that tells you your driving conditions have changed, your engine is consuming oil slightly faster than before, or your PCV system may need attention. None of those are emergencies. All of them become emergencies if they're not noticed for another 20,000 miles. A retired schoolteacher in Atlanta has kept a paper log on her 2003 Toyota Corolla since the day she bought it. That car has 297,000 miles on it. The original engine, the original transmission. She has never had a catastrophic mechanical failure. When asked what she attributes it to, her answer is consistent. She always knew what was in the car, what had been done to it, and what was due next. The difference between a car that breaks down at 110,000 miles and one that's still running strong at 300,000 isn't the brand of oil. It's not the filter. It's not even the interval. It's the total accumulation of correct decisions made in the hours, days, and weeks after every single maintenance event, not before it. Every engine that failed prematurely failed because something small was missed at a moment when catching it was still cheap. The oil change is the most frequent maintenance event in your car's life. The window after it is the most underestimated. Right now, if you've had an oil change in the last 3,000 miles, go check your dipstick. Verify the level. Confirm the oil life monitor was reset. Write down the mileage and the date. It takes 4 minutes. And 4 minutes, repeated consistently over a decade, is the entire difference between an engine that lasts and one that doesn't. Here's something worth sitting with. Every car on the road right now is either building toward its next problem or being quietly protected from it. The one you're driving is doing one or the other, and you now know exactly which category you want it in.